But there's no getting around the fact that what was on the mind of the liberals that night in Brentwood, or wherever we may have been, was that the most powerful witch hunters now were coming from Twitter, the Ivy League, and the progressive left. J.K. Rowling used to be a villain to the right because she wrote books about witchcraft. Now she's a villain to the left.
Bill Maher just called out Hollywood celebrities for losing touch with reality and backed up his criticism with examples on live TV. He didn't hold back or soften his words for even a moment. Before we continue, if you enjoy short commentary videos with full breakdowns, take 2 seconds to subscribe to the channel. Now, let's get back to the video.
Ricky's right. Celebrities don't know about the real world. So Democrats, it's great you have all the big celebs, but people see them as an arm of the Democratic Party, which they already suspect for lacking common sense. I know. I know the celebrities mean well, and we thank them for having their heart in the right place, but just do you. Do what you do so well. Use your extraordinary talents for the noble cause of bringing relief from the problems that ribbons and pins can't fix. I know it's very important to you that you feel that you're making a difference, so let me assure you, you are. You're making independents vote Republican.
Celebrities don't just fail to help their causes. Critics argue they can actually hurt them. The 2024 election was used by Maher to support that point. Kamala Harris received endorsements from major stars like Taylor Swift, Beyoncé, Oprah Winfrey, George Clooney, Julia Roberts, Meryl Streep, Bruce Springsteen, Robert Downey Jr., Leonardo DiCaprio, and many others. Yet according to AP VoteCast data, 44% of women ages 18 to 44 still voted for the other side, even though that was a key group those endorsements aim to reach. Maher's point is simple. When regular Americans feel that Hollywood celebrities are trying to speak for them, the natural reaction can be pushback.
It's just not in us, including me. And I'm tired of living well, not a lie, but it's also something I never mention, but it's a new year, and I'd like to come clean. My name is Bill. And I fly private. And so does every other person who calls themselves an environmentalist who can. Now enjoy this fun photo collage of some of your favorite stars and politicians who speak about the need to reduce our carbon footprint, but who are always on private planes. That's right, all of them. If you don't see a celebrity's picture here, it's because we weren't allowed to use it. Or their series got canceled. But all the environmentalists of Hollywood and Washington.
Bill Maher admitted on his own show that he flies private, and critics say that was one of the most honest moments of his monologue. They argue that few liberal celebrities are willing to admit something like that on national TV. The numbers also make the issue hard to ignore. According to Carbon Market Watch, the richest 1% of people are responsible for 50% of global aviation emissions. Private jet flights across Europe also rose 65% in 2022, with many trips under 750 kilometers that could have been made by train or car. That is exactly the point Maher was making.
Their position on climate change is, we must do more to stop pouring carbon into the air, except for me when I want to go somewhere and then I take a private jet. It turns out there is one thing in this world that is completely impossible to resist, and this is it. It's like heroin. If you do it once, you'll never stop. There are two kinds of people in the world, those who fly private and those who would if they could. A third category, those who could but do not, does not exist. except for Ed Begley and Greta Thunberg. And that's why you never see a picture of her smiling. Ed and Greta, that's who walks the walk. Everyone else is...
That's the confession many celebrities would rather keep off camera, and Maher's point hits hard because he knows the reality. The numbers also support the criticism. Research from digital marketing firm Yard estimated that Taylor Swift's private jet produced more than 8,300 tons of carbon in 1 year, about 1,184 times the annual emissions of the average person. In just 200 days, her jet reportedly produced more CO2 than 400 average Americans produce in their entire lifetimes combined. This matters because people are being told to drive less, eat less meat, and use solar power, while some wealthy celebrities can produce huge amounts of pollution in a short time. That's why Maher says he couldn't stay silent anymore.
I can take being a bad environmentalist because almost all of us are, but I can't take being a hypocrite. Now, I always justified renting a plane because I only used it for work and literally could not get to most of my stand-up gigs on time any other way. How do you think I did it all those years? I said goodnight here at 8 p.m. and was on stage in Vegas at 10. But I don't need to do stand-up, like tomorrow night in Albuquerque. And outside of heads of state, almost everyone else could fly commercial. Why don't they? Ask anyone who tried to get home for Christmas last year.
I can't stand being a hypocrite. Critics say this was the moment Maher did what few other celebrities are willing to do: admit the contradiction. His point is simple. Being a bad environmentalist can be understandable, but lecturing everyone else while ignoring your own actions is not. During Super Bowl weekend in 2024, 882 private jets landed in Las Vegas for one game, according to flight tracker WingX, making it the second highest private jet turnout for a Super Bowl. For Maher, the message is clear. Either live by the rules you preach, like Ed Begley Jr., or stop telling everyone else how to live.
Who can resist it? John Kerry is our climate czar, and he uses a private jet. It's like if the Secretary of Homeland Security smuggled drugs in his butt. People take jets to environmental conferences. If you could run TED Talks on hypocrisy, you wouldn't need coal. But sorry, not sorry. I tried to do my part for the environment. I never had kids. The one thing worse for the planet than private jets. It's true, because then they have kids. I had the first generation Prius in 2001. It looked like a Tylenol gel cap. I was always handing my keys to valets who were driving a better car than me. I had the first Tesla in 2010.
John Kerry, America's climate czar, also became part of the criticism. Maher's point is that when a top official promoting climate policies uses one of the world's most polluting forms of transportation, the message can lose credibility. The numbers make the issue even harder to ignore. A study cited by Carbon Market Watch found that private jets can produce up to 14 times more pollution per person than commercial flights. Kerry's trips to European climate meetings have also been publicly tracked. Maher's argument is simple. You can't ask working families to give up steak while government officials take expensive private flights across the Atlantic. The message just doesn't work.
In 1973, the share of global electricity generated by coal was 38%. You know what it was 46 years later in 2019, after all the talk and all the trying? 37%. You know what percentage of plastic gets recycled? 5%. Those blue bins that are everywhere, they're not full of bottles, they're full. Can you blame us for being a little cynical when you find out that all that plastic that we've been painstakingly separating out for the last 20 years all goes to the same place anyway? So yes, it's fun to laugh at powerful people. That's how I can afford to fly private. But
Only about 5% of plastic gets recycled, while coal's share of global electricity production is still close to where it was decades ago. Critics say these are the numbers the environmental movement rarely highlights. People are given guilt, recycling bins, and constant lectures, yet global carbon emissions continue to rise. That, critics argue, is the problem with the movement. Regular people are told to solve a huge global issue by washing plastic containers, while private jets keep flying, coal keeps burning, and celebrities keep getting praise for saying they care.
great news about a new award show. Listen to this. About a year and a half ago, I was asked to moderate a discussion at the home of a very prominent Hollywood producer. And the attendees that night was a who's who of A-listers and stars. If a bomb went off in that room, there'd be nothing on TV next year, but, well, let's just say it would be a great year for Kevin Sorbo. I can't say exactly who was there, but if there really is a Jewish space laser, these guys have the codes. Anyway, the subject we all wanted to talk about that night was cancel culture. And it's funny, if this was 10 years ago, this group would have been talking about censorship from the right. Back then it was the Jerry Falwells and Pat Robertson.
A room full of celebrities quietly agreeing that cancel culture has gone too far. Critics say this was the private Hollywood conversation the public was never meant to hear. The same actors and executives who publicly support activist causes may have very different opinions in private. And Maher has brought attention to what they might say when the cameras are off. His point is simple. The public image can be very different from what people truly believe in private.
But there's no getting around the fact that what was on the mind of the liberals that night in Brentwood, or wherever we may have been, was that the most powerful witch hunters now were coming from Twitter, the Ivy League, and the progressive left. J.K. Rowling used to be a villain to the right because she wrote books about witchcraft. Now she's a villain to the left because she has the crazy belief that there's more to being a woman than pronouns and lipstick. So that was the point of the evening. How do we take a stand against cancel culture? And I suggested, since we were mostly all in show business, that we start an award show to honor the brave people who have fought back. Well,
J.K. Rowling, the woman who created the book series that inspired millions of children to love reading, is another example critics say proves Maher's point. The Harry Potter franchise has made more than $25 billion from books, movies, merchandise, and theme parks. Rowling has also sold more than 600 million books worldwide. Yet critics argue that parts of Hollywood have benefited from her work while also trying to distance themselves from her. Maher's point is clear. This is what happens when an industry turns against someone whose work helped make it billions.
this next cojones goes to a man who's dear to my heart for standing up for stand-up. When dozens of Netflix employees walked out over Dave Chappelle's reckless decision to perform comedy on his comedy special. CEO Ted Sarandos could have pulled the special and replaced it with more episodes of Who Wants to Watch Koreans Get But instead, he reminded his Netflix employees that comedy exists to push boundaries and told them if you'd find it hard to support our content breadth, Netflix may not be the best place for you.
Ted Sarandos, Netflix CEO, was one of the major streaming executives who refused to back down. When Netflix employees protested Dave Chappelle's special The Closer, the company had a choice: remove the show or defend it. Sarandos chose to defend it, and the special reached millions of viewers soon after its release. To Maher, this is the example Hollywood should follow. His point is that when companies stand firm instead of giving in to pressure, the pressure can lose its power.
In an interview this week, Tom Hanks said Hollywood wouldn't cast him as a today. Oh, Philadelphia. Right. And Tom Hanks said, rightly so. Oh. Oh. Tom, always on the right side. Remember. Do you agree with this sentiment? I don't.
I don't.
mean, he's an actor.
Right.
What is this insanity?
Thank you.
He might be right in the sense that Hollywood might not cast him.
No, he said rightly so.
That's the part where he's wrong.
I agree. I think he's wrong. Yeah, there, I've said it. Tom Hanks can be wrong.
Tom Hanks, often seen as America's dad, has said Hollywood should think carefully about casting him in certain roles today. Critics say this shows how much the acting industry has changed. Maher's point is simple. Acting is about pretending to be someone you are not. That is the whole job. When actors feel they need to apologize for playing fictional characters, critics argue that Hollywood has forgotten what acting is supposed to be.
But come on, man. Can we live in the present? No Academy member this year filled out their ballot thinking, well, I didn't think Chalamet was very good, but I'll vote for him because he's white. Hollywood isn't a secret cabal of racists. It's a secret cabal of people terrified of looking like racists. And I'm just tired of, no matter how much progress is made, social justice warriors feeling the need to gaslight us as if none of it had happened. A couple of years ago, the Academy established a very complex rule book that said you couldn't even be considered for Best Picture unless you met certain criteria, like 30% of the crew or 2 department heads had to be from underrepresented groups, and a main storyline had to be as well.
The Oscars. Critics say Maher's point about the Academy being afraid of criticism is something Hollywood rarely says openly. In 2020, the Academy introduced new diversity standards for Best Picture eligibility, requiring films to meet certain criteria involving cast, crew, or story. Maher sees this as a sign of what happens when an art form starts being managed like a corporate HR department. Everyone becomes focused on how choices look, while critics worry that the actual quality of movies gets pushed aside.
A few years ago, Denzel Washington said, we ought to be at a place where diversity shouldn't even be mentioned like it's something special. Exactly. Sometimes I'm the equalizer. Sometimes it's an old English dude. Sometimes it's Queen Latifah. I mean, the whole thing is so Hollywood, a room full of know-nothings who call themselves the Academy, making everyone tremble before their judgment, even though their judgment is often terrible and fails the test of time. Maybe the hashtag should be Oscars So Wrong.
Denzel Washington once said, diversity should not even need to be mentioned. It should just exist. Critics say this matches the point Maher has made for years. Real progress means looking beyond labels instead of constantly focusing on them. Maher argues that the Academy has done the opposite by turning diversity into a political scorecard. He believes that when awards become more about politics than talent, the awards themselves lose their value. Then Maher points to the historical record to support his argument.
Citizen Kane, It's a Wonderful Life, 12 Angry Men, Singing in the Rain, Dr. Strangelove, Raging Bull, Pulp Fiction, goes on and on. Not a single Best Picture among them. Brilliant, brave, groundbreaking, intellectually honest films constantly lose to much more forgettable, trifling, sentimental stuff. Saving Private Ryan lost to Shakespeare in Love. Sunset Boulevard lost to All About Eve. Glory to Driving Miss Daisy. Gangs in New York to Chicago. Munich lost to Crash. Citizen Kane lost to How Green Was My Valley, whatever that was. Reds lost to Chariots of Fire.
Citizen Kane, It's a Wonderful Life, 12 Angry Men, Singing in the Rain, Dr. Strangelove, and Pulp Fiction never won Best Picture. Critics say this supports Maher's argument that the Academy has often made questionable choices. Some of the most respected films in movie history lost to movies that are now barely remembered. Shakespeare in Love beating Saving Private Ryan is still seen as one of the most debated Oscar decisions. To Maher, This shows that the Academy has made poor choices for decades, and it didn't need diversity rules to get things wrong.
And the acting awards? No better. They're constantly giving out the makeup for a snub Oscar when an actor gets one because the Academy stepped on its dick the first 10 times the guy should have won. Al Pacino in The Godfather, Godfather 2, Serpico, Scarface, Dog Day Afternoon. I could go on. Crickets. Then he plays a blind guy who screams hoo-ha and welcome to the winner's circle. It's like honoring Michael Jordan for when he played baseball. But you know why he won that one. Blind guy. I mean, afflictions win.
Al Pacino starred in The Godfather, The Godfather Part 2, Serpico, Scarface, and Dog Day Afternoon. Yet critics say the Academy overlooked him for years until he won for Scent of a Woman. They see this as an example of what they believe is wrong with Hollywood, ignoring great work for years, then giving someone an award later as if it proves the system works. Maher argues that the same pattern appears across the industry, ignoring reality, audiences, and common sense, then rewarding each other for it. He says regular Americans are already showing their frustration by tuning out award shows, rejecting political messages from celebrities, and making choices that go against Hollywood's expectations. According to this view, the celebrity era may be changing, and Maher is willing to say it openly. Now, what do you think? Is Bill Maher one of the few honest voices in Hollywood? Are celebrity endorsements hurting the causes they support? And is the Academy still a serious institution, or has it become too political? Share your thoughts in the comments. Hit like if you think Maher made a strong point, and subscribe for more.